Hello, ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Over coming to you with another Company of Heroes 2 match. This is a subscriber submission. I have been asked to keep the identity private until the absolute end of the game, so let's just jump straight into the actual combatants. Up here, spawning in the northeast, it is the Wehrmacht places of ZIZYZ, or maybe ZIZYZ? ZIZYZ? I'm not entirely too sure. Thankfully, our southwestern UKF player is a little more easy to pronounce. This is Steel Dragon down here. Now, Wehrmacht player ZIZYZ, I think, ZIZYZ. We're going to go with ZIZYZ, I guess. ZIZYZ is going to be playing the Mechanized Assault Doctrine. You do see him already deploying those Assault Grenadiers. Keep in mind, folks, though, that these are not the 1.6 engineers in the Winter Balance patch. Grenadiers, rather, of the Winter Balance patch, which means that the damage potential for them is going to drop off quite a bit. Map itself obviously is Crossroads. You are going to see some immediate engagement happening already. An MG42 very, very quickly popped is going to start throwing down rounds against this infantry section, hunkering down in this house. Only one guy back here with that SMLE putting fire back in the Kraut's direction. Before we get bogged down with that too, so Steel Dragon to the fray is bringing the potentials of Special Weapons Regiment with Tank Hunters, as well as the Grand Guard Operations Crocodile, things like that. Royal Artillery Regiment, so interestingly, we could finally see some legit howitzers being played. It's not an often seen decision. An Advanced Emplacement Regiment. So we have a potential to see some very, very strange opportunities here, whether it's emplacements or it's a lot of pioneers, rather of the 25-pounders, I was going to say howitzers. We could definitely see some interesting play happening. Worth noting, Steel Dragon already is not really investing at all in any kind of territory capture. Going for the VPs very early on, while the Germans are kind of leapfrogging ahead by leaps and bounds in terms of income. And in the north, we are seeing already that Steel Dragon is able to force off one of these Pioneer squads. And if he just sat still, he might be able to take advantage of that fire rate buff, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And that Pioneer is going to make himself get scarce PDQ. Germans, in the meantime, have thrown down a munitions cache as other infantry sections start to come out on the map. 4 infantry sections to start the game. Considering the extremely minimal fuel income for Steel Dragon, this is almost understandable. Now, ZIZYZ, for the other hand, he should be able to pretty soon actually just tech up to Battle Phase 1. Of course, he is losing quite a bit of manpower in these out in the open fights. See those poor MP40 armed Pioneers getting torn to pieces here. Assault Grens are looking to change that, though, moving to shorten the distance by quite a bit. In the middle part of the map, this MG42 and the SMLEs again are just firing back and forth. Unfortunately, the new gentleman coming in will find himself suppressed rather quickly, and there's a good decision to actually open fire on this particular infantry section as opposed to the guys in the garrison. But you did see also Steel Dragon had a very, very quick tech to platoon command post. But without any fuel to really support anything, I'm kind of confused what he's looking to do with this resource level. Now ZIZYZ, on the other hand, he's taking it back in base. He's having a bit of a break for a second, kind of, taking a breather, getting his act together, kind of thinking about it for a moment, and he's down 50 tickets already. So less than 4 minutes in, the Germans are down 50 tickets. It's not a spectacular place to be in. Nevertheless, he doesn't seem like he's too concerned about it. Steel Dragon calling in some Royal Engineers. But neither player has fuel in supply. We might finally see that happen pretty darn soon. And there we go, finally some fuel coming in for the Brits. Pioneers, in the meantime, not really throwing out any mines or anything like that, which would have been a very good opportunity for the Germans to really be pushing the damage potential. And the northern side, this machine gun over here is kind of hunkering down, waiting for some more fire to come in, and with some more opportunities for fire to come in. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. And we are seeing a little bit of standing around a bit from both sides, both ZIZYZ as well as Steel Dragon, but I suspect that this mortar is meant to be able to kind of encourage that battlefront to speed up a little bit more. Southern part of the field, the construction crew from both sides decides to meet, and you see it's a very bloody confrontation. Men getting almost up to hand combat. 2 to 1 in terms of casualties there. And in the north, these assault grenadiers are going to do a decent job in pushing back the infantry section, allowing the Pioneer Squad to minimize the losses already being taken by the Wehrmacht group here. Now, ZIZYZ is not taking up at all, which is a very curious decision. He has the opportunity to do so, and had the opportunity to do so, but he keeps diversifying his infantry army a little bit more, which is an interesting call, but usually it's not necessarily needed quite so soon. And I imagine we're going to see ourselves a little bit of a shake and bake coming up here by Pioneers armed with a flamethrower and green cover, which means that the British might want to move, or else they might find themselves beaten and bloody back to jolly old England. A couple of bursts of fire later, after suffering 50% casualties in that engagement, the Brits are ejected rather severely, which is allowing a little bit of a leapfrog forward. The Germans have brought their own fuel back into supply. There we go, finally going to see that Battle Phase 1 happening here. I'm not sure if necessarily we'll need to see maybe a 2-2-2 coming out, but with luck, if I were the Germans, I would just continue tacking forward. At this point, I kind of feel like he wants to go and wait to pick up ZIZYZ, and then maybe tech really late to Tigas, but kind of an interesting decision, not entirely too sure about that. In the meantime, the infantry section unfortunately has found himself very much outflanked by this machine gun, but there is a Vickers of his own putting firepower out onto the MG42. There might be some ineffectual fire happening here. That fence gets torn apart by the MG fire. The Royal Engineers are a little bit behind enemy lines.
They're trying to take it.
Interesting. Steel Dragon is looking to go for an AEC push. I'm not sure that's necessarily the greatest idea. If for no other reason, the fact that no, maybe it probably could be if you think about it. The Germans are not running with any sort of mines whatsoever, which allows a certain freedom to kind of even dive deep to pick up and pick on the enemy quite a bit. Infantry section, though, does have these capturing Pioneers outflanked. You do see them getting pushed back quite severely. And now there's 2 mortars on the field for the Germans. That's a little bit much. Usually you tend to see 1 unless there's a 2v2 and have much little more indirect fire from that. And in the northern side, we are going to see Grenadiers exchanging firepower with the infantry section, having a little bit of the worst of it at the moment, but a rifle grenade does go out. Barely does anything, though, which is super shocking to me. And interestingly, this Vickers is aiming to the north as opposed to kind of turning around and really putting fire out onto these Grenadiers. But it doesn't seem to matter too much. I mean, geez, he's up 125 tickets. Steel Dragon seems to be in good control of this game. And somehow this mortar team is being brought under fire as well. So that's a little bit of a savage move here. Unfortunate. 2 mortars, though, starting to unleash, my guess is right on top of the machine gun. Yep, and getting hammered on that one as well. 1 more round could be enough to even take him out. But I think the machine gun's going to get out of there in time. Yep, he does. And both mortars are forced to pull back, as well as assault grenadiers are not in time to chase away this invading infantry section. Steel Dragon controlling a very good portion of the field. Royal Engineers throwing down some mines over here as well. Might have been better placed over here to the east. He's seen a lot more German attention coming from the eastern side as opposed to the west. But you know, beggars can't be choosers, and minors never become majors.
Enemies trying to take a point from us.
To the northern side, it looks like the Brits are trying to take this northern fuel point, but assault grens are there just in time and push back the invading Brits. And the British don't really have a whole lot of medical supply infantry. They have the 1 squad right now, but I feel like they really should be investing in that a lot more. Heck, or even throwing some munitions into either Royal, the minesweepers or things like that.
Heavy armored car ready.
But I guess there's an AEC on the field again as well, so can't complain too much. And that was 1 mine get thrown down. There's another one coming over here as well. Curious decisions and placement, but I guess non-standard will make sure that the Germans are not quite ready for that kind of opportunity, that kind of push. AEC is on the field and he's going to push into these assault grens over here, and assault grens are not going to be able to really push this back at all. The AEC is not really pushing against HVTs either. High-value targets are not really being hit here. And DGs, I'd be pushing after this Pioneer Squad immediately. But that's not going to be it seems, Steel Dragon's particular decision point. In the end, though, the Pioneers with their flamethrowers are pushed back, and ZIZYZ is putting out a leichter mechanized company. AEC, though, finally comes in to flank the Grenadiers, and one more round, no, doesn't quite take him out. Unlucky for that AEC and very lucky for those Grenadiers. Mortar team, in the meantime, has caught out on the road, and these guys need to book it or else. I'm very surprised that Steel Dragon's been able to keep the Germans as bottled up as he has. Usually the UKF is not your most aggressive faction. I mean, early AEC can be countered pretty darn quickly by a Pack 40 or anything like that, but that doesn't seem to be the decision being made. Almost looked like for a second that the AEC actually aced one of his own guys, but no, that was taken out by the Assault Grens. But very, very quickly we are going to see these mortars are going to do the deed against the Royal Engineers. They need to back off right now.
Capture point is being overrun.
Right now. There we go. And makes out just barely in time. Some other fire would have come in and taken those poor guys out. In the north, we are going to see it's going to be a trip cap again for Steel Dragon. But Steel Dragon is going to bring out a Pack 40. And not a moment too soon, a second AEC is on the map. And I'm a little concerned right now for ZIZYZ's immediate prospects. It's a long way to get to that Tiga. And I get the feeling that ZIZYZ is watching a lot of just kind of meta-German activity here. Maybe not in terms of reinforcing a map presence, but, you know, at least he's got the whole idea down that if you're going to run mechanized assault, you generally tend to not want to tech up. You preserve your fuel income as much as possible. But considering how many infantry squads and how much British material is out on the map, I'm really super concerned. I'm actually really super concerned about this infantry section right here. But not too much, because it seems like they're not anywhere near the front lines. Vickers machine gun to the west is going to be able to unload onto this Grenadier squad, and I'm really hoping that ZIZYZ finds a way to kind of get back in this. I would hate to see a game be a complete and total landslide. Royal Engineers, in the meantime, are going to sit over here, sit tight, and put rounds into these Grenadiers as they capture out the strategic point. And where is that Pack? Pack is just barely out of range of the AEC. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The other AEC to the south as well, so we could see a very, very big surprise being put on for this Pack, even if he gets a couple of rounds off. Grenadiers toss off another Panzerfaust here. Good decision, and I'm getting the picture that maybe this AEC is going to go down. He's not reacting quick enough. Pack 40's got one more round, and ka-choom! AEC number 1 goes down. The second one should be diving in immediately to be flanking this Pack, but unfortunately that is not going to happen. Instead, ZIZYZ gets the opportunity to bring in a Stug, and with the Stug coming in, the AEC is pretty much obsolete. Yes, it can circle strafe, but with that Pack 40 and the attendance of other Grenadier squads, that shouldn't be too easy. Steel Dragon has decided to go for that Royal Artillery Regiment. It could be kind of fun. That early warning is not really going to happen too much. It's a super expensive thing, and while it's very, very helpful, it's also very situational. But bringing in something like a Valentine might be enough to kind of deflect until he can get to late game tanks. I'm not sure maybe it's the best option, but an interesting option nonetheless. Assault Grens toss out their grenades, don't really manage to get a legit hit though onto these infantry sections. Steel Dragon, excellent awareness. And for some reason, the Stug is able to get in, and it's just thrown rounds into this machine gun. Machine gun goes down, infantry section is still there. And it's very, very rare to see a Valentine tank come out here. The Stug itself, though, is getting wrecked, and I don't know why that dive necessarily happened. Main gun destroyed. Yep, there he goes. He is down. He is never coming back, Jim.
Receiving you loud and clear.
Before, by the way, I can hear you guys angrily typing already. Folks, please remember this is a submission, so please be generous with it. We're looking constructive criticism here more than anything else.
Our capture point.
Immediately I would say not hanging out single squads to dry, as you do see right here, nor pushing with a vehicle with no infantry support. Doesn't seem to bother ZIZYZ too much, though those 2 mortars are still enough to kind of keep him in this game for the time being. And is that a rifle grenade going out? No, that's just mortar teams throwing rounds downrange. And for some reason this pack is firing into this stone wall. Cannot for the life of me figure out why, but that's what he's doing. But that Pack 40 is kind of shifting forwards it delicately. It doesn't seem like he's getting too much of an angle though onto the Valentine. This area right here is excellent for vehicles because it requires any sort of anti-tank presence to get super, super close, and that's not going to happen too easily. See that Pack 40 kind of hustling back and forth, not able really to get a good line here.
The Maschinengewehr team is awaiting orders.
And it sounds like another machine gun's been called in. I'm not entirely too sure why. And I'm wondering right now, does ZIZYZ doesn't see. He sees the AEC slide off to the western side. Although how he sees it is beyond me. Smoke screen. No. What is that yellow? Oh, okay, the Valentine. You barely ever see this dumb thing. So let's slow this down for a second so I can just kind of take a quick look at that ability. For him, observation mode. Interesting. So Steel Dragon right now is able to see stuff that should be behind him, theoretically.
Vehicle ready to go.
Survey the area.
Contact!
Nearby.
It's a big
Okay.
Russian gun.
Moving at main gun. Okay. We'll see. I'm not sure it's really the greatest positioning for it. I imagine putting the Valentine a little bit further forwards is probably a better plan. But hey, it's free, and it's not too shabby on that one. So I'm wondering if we'll see another observation mode or something like that coming out. And this AEC is trying to pick on these pioneers, but he's putting himself in a corner, and just like Baby, it's not a great place to be. Round impacts just short. Pack 40 gets another round off, though, and it pings off the wall instead, so that AEC is like the luckiest son of a gun in the world.
Taking our territory.
Grenadiers, in the meantime, going to take a negative fight against these Royal Engineers. I'm out in the open with negative cover. Not a strong decision there. But hey, the Germans are able to take some tickets off of the Brits. 237 to 465. About time, too. They're down 230 tickets. And yes, ZIZYZ is just looking to sit as long as possible. Where are those rounds coming down? Wow, concentration barrage coming on the base structures of ZIZYZ. I never actually thought that that would be an excellent option. But you know what? He's got a ton of munitions, so you might as well use it, right? So, interesting. So the Valentine and the Howitzers can work together on that one. I admit, this is not a doctrine I use overly much, so to see it in action is very, very fascinating for me. What I was going to say is that, yes, the Germans are down 230 tickets, and it's still a fair bit of time before we can see some fuel for that Lake Antigua. We are getting closer and closer all the time to it, though, so once that happens, we could see some very, very dead Brits. Pack 40 unloads on his Western AEC. The Western AEC, and its only surviving AEC, throws down a smoke screen and bolts for the hills. Tends to be one of the more powerful usages for 30 munitions there. But 18-20 into this game, and the Brits are trying to take back some of this VP disparity here. Royal Engineers do find themselves getting carved to bits between the mortars and a rifle grenade, and being out in the open while they throw down all that other garbage. Oh my gosh, permanent Overwatch? Yes, it is. Watch friendly territory. That is a ridiculous amount of munitions. But for 2 minutes, the Germans are going to find it very hard to push into British territory. I think it would have been better to wait to see some actual territory getting taken here. You see these guys right now are just kind of hanging out, not really pushing forwards at all. So Primitive Overwatch is kind of finding itself not useless per se, but yeah, pretty useless. Valentine, in the meantime, dives in, takes a round to the face, throws down a round in return, but it's not going to do too much. And now with the Pack 40 snug up against the building here too. Oh my gosh, could this be the death of so many things? We know the Pack 40 instead is going to get around into its rear, I imagine. No, he doesn't. He gets out of there just barely in time. And this perimeter Overwatch has not done a whole lot. Mortars instead from the Germans are doing a fair bit, chunking down the Vickers team right here and forcing him away.
A capture point is being
Ah, there we go. Finally we're going to see some rounds come over here after the mortar. But for 225 munitions, not a lot of usage has really happened here. Never mind, I stand corrected. 2 models going down, and this is not a vetted up squad of mortars, but at the same time, one more round could take him out. And impacting just barely long. And it looks like, no, the Brits don't have that position. So friendly artillery, but friendly territory, but this area right here is not being seen. Oh my gosh, that's what it is. It's concentration barrage. So artillery galore being called here, and one shot, 86ing that poor pack gun, evaporating it, in fact, and taking it back right this second is probably the best option. 2040 into this game. Where are we? 237 to 406, and this bunker is shockingly enough still surviving after the unkind attentions of a concentration barrage. And Steel Dragon, though, he's had a very, very good supply of munitions through most of this game. And he really should be picking up this mortar right now. It'd be a good idea in my mind. There we go. We picking it up? There we go. Yep. And the German mortar is now under their control. And we're going to see a Firefly coming out from Steel Dragon. So he's expecting that late game Tiga. And the Tiga is going to be coming in the next less than, what, 30 seconds or so, I would say? And once that comes in, most of what the Brits have is severely diminished. Steel Dragon, I don't know if you're ever going to watch this, buddy, but at the same time, I would look into immediately repairing a lot of your vehicles. I do see these guys coming in right now. It's a good plan right now. Cool. 1. Good. Firefly's completed, and the Valentine is observing forward. So Steel Dragon, going to be looking and seeing quite a bit of stuff here. Seeing a lot of these positions as well. So concentration barrage, I imagine, coming down in this area. No, he's going after that bunker again. I'm not entirely too sure why. Focusing on that is not the most utility you might be getting for that 100 munitions, though taking out 3 models from that Pioneer squad is pretty darn good. But now the Tigo's coming in, and there is nothing on the other side. Even this Firefly's not going to be enough to push it away. So I wonder if this is the opportunity for ZIZYZ to really be dominating yet again. First round comes in, takes out 3 models, takes out a squad with another one. That's not the first blood necessarily, but things have been surprisingly preserved in this game so far. Tiga now also has his machine gun, which means that the infantry itself really should be terrified. And I mean not just like a little bit terrified, but I mean like peeing your pants terrified. And not too much better for these noble vehicles back here. Valentine, in the meantime, just continues to keep spying out the middle parts of the map here and there. And these 60-pound rockets on the Sherman Firefly are not going to be enough to push back the Tiger. Nor are we going to see, I think, the Germans giving up the middle VP. Brits staying in there just long enough to decap it. Good positioning. And this pack is not healed up at all. So ZIZYZ, I don't know if you're watching this, buddy, but you might want to consider putting in a medic bunker ASAP into your build. It will keep your squads around much, much longer, and it was going to be a very, I don't know, it's going to be much healthier for you in the long term. Just trust me on that one. Tiger is sliding to the south. I mean, I suspect we're going to see the Valentine is just observing everything. Yes, it is. A correct decision to throw out a Panzerfaust there, and Firefly now is in the area. So the question is the Tiger going to find the Firefly? Is it going to be attacking the animal kingdom? Tulip rockets go out. We're going to see both the blind and stunned crew for a couple of seconds here. But after that, rear armor hits going out here. Oh my gosh, the Tiger going to be outflanked and taken out by a Firefly. I mean, floating like a bumblebee, it's like a butterfly, and stinging like a bee is one thing, but Fireflies don't tend to be the most vicious of animals here. Grenadiers are getting carved, but good by the AEC and the Valentine, but the Valentine goes down, pack 40, minimal health, and still blows it away. Tulip rockets in the meantime still need a little bit of a recharge time, and it gives the Germans more than enough opportunity to get the southern fuel point, and he's been draining tickets away slowly from Steel Dragon for the last, what, 15 minutes or so, I'd say. Closing the gap second by second here. Infantry section sliding in deeper, though. Fuel point looking to get picked up and get rid of some of that fuel economy from the Germans. It's 100% necessary. And some fresh Pioneers being called in, so that way we have a nice big pit crew for the Tiger tank. Good idea there. Assault Grant's missing an opportunity, definitely able to pick up the Southern VP. They're going to go and do that now. And with the sorely abused vehicles of the UKF, things look rather dire indeed. Fuel gets decapped but not recapped, and the squad that had done so gets brutalized. Now, the question is, how's the veterancy game looking? You can see Grenadiers for ZIZYZ are 3 stars, get 2 at 3 stars apiece. So the Grenadiers are doing pretty darn well, all things considered. Infantry a little bit less so. Another concentration barrage going out. He's looking to take out that bunker, and I don't know why he's tunneling on that bunker quite so hard. So Steel Dragon, buddy, this is not worth the 500 munitions you're spending on it. Just my humble advice. You have a mortar, use the mortar. If you really, really desperately don't like it being there, you got the opportunity to call in a sexton a long time ago. And the Germans, for their own part, are throwing in their own light arty barrage here, so looking to get out and take out that infantry section, but it seems he's just a little bit too far west to effectively target that infantry section. That's a little bit annoying right there. But he does push him away before it successfully gets captured, so that's a plus right there. Of course, that lasts only as long as it takes for the infantry to move out and back in. We're also going to see ourselves at we're not a crocodile, so no, it's a comet, duh. Comet coming out for the Brits. So with a Firefly in the AEC and a Comet, we could see enough to push this bad boy away. But no guarantees on that one. And indeed, we are going to see the Southern VP is going to go back into control for the British forces here. And this Tiger tank has to be worried about this eastern kind of positioning. Interesting, we are going to notice this mortar team is not throwing rounds into the middle part of the field. I don't know. There he is. Is he throwing rounds? How far east are we talking here? Oh, no, okay, he's going to the center part of the field here. So Comet tank is coming out into the field, but Comets tend to be a sign of bad luck. So, yeah, not too sure about that one. Germans, in the meantime, put down another Pack 40, throwing out some mines in the south here. So any infantry push will find itself stymied, I would say, by passive defense. So good decision there from Steel Dragon. I still would like to see a bunker that has healing putting out, but no, ZIZYZ is just very much wedded to the idea of keeping a machine gun with that field of fire. Steel Dragon is throwing down that early warning, so let's put on his artillery flare things again. There we go. It's kind of cute and all that, but really not a point to kind of using it. It's 60 munitions down the drain, but frontline territories is a huge amount of area, so you can see a lot of where the enemy is pushing. So what the Tiger is, it's just the Tiger's there. He knows that he can probably push safely in the east, and it does seem like he's swinging his own troops around to do so. Munitions cache being completed. I'm not sure that was the Germans. Yes, by the Germans. And this infantry section to find themselves getting slaughtered, but a Grenadier squad goes down as well. Is that friendly kills right there? Yeah, friendly's killed 4. So one round comes in and takes out that Grenadier squad. The only thing, the good thing that's come out of that is that the Brits have found themselves losing an infantry section from this dead garrison here. Indeed, this Tiger is probably going to go down here. This guy's way too deep. He is throwing rounds into this Comet tank, but the Comet from 20 paces, it's going to penetrate anything he shoots at. Nevertheless, 237 to 268. It's getting super close. Is this Comet going to make it out? No, Comet goes down. I told you it was bad luck. And the Sherman Firefly is starting to charge forwards, and it's a light brigade attack here. I'm not sure it's the greatest idea. Pack 40 is going to take it in the flank. He's not going to make it out alive. For sure. Come on. Sherman Firefly does take him out, though, so that part of the food network is a little bit screwed up. Pack 40 is going to get at least one round into its rear, so that's 1. And 2, we get one more round off. Yes, probably. No attack round comes out. Now, for some reason, this AEC has not been repaired. He's been damaged for like 20 minutes. So unfortunately, yet again, we are going to see ZIZYZ kind of missing an opportunity there.
Damned enemies.
Oh, not just ZIZYZ, but Steel Dragon missing an opportunity to look after his vehicles, and ZIZYZ missing an opportunity to kind of dive a little bit deeper for it. So I don't know if that was what he was trying to do with that Tiger just now or what. Nevertheless, I suspect we're going to see a second Tiger being called in here. And this Pioneer squad's going to do pretty darn well in the meantime, pushing back this Vickers. Now my question is this going to be a friendly mortar coming in? Yeah, British captured mortar is firing onto these Pioneers. And the German mortar, I imagine, will be throwing rounds into the infantry section here in just a moment. Light arty barrage in the meantime is supposed to go down. There we go, looking to find that Vickers. Pushes it back but doesn't take it out. I get the feeling sometimes that light arty barrage is a little bit underpowered. Not devastatingly so, but a little bit underpowered. Doesn't really do a lot of damage. And finally, after a good 15-20 minutes, the Brits are starting to drain tickets again from the Germans. It's 235 to 247. So the score's just about even again. And another Comet tank's being brought out here, and another Tiga tank has been coming in. So both guys looking for those late game tanks to kind of bolster their ailing forces. The Brits have very little in the way of veterancy back on the map. A mere, 6 stars across the entire army. The Germans have almost that entire thing just in their mainline infantry. Now, their own infantry doesn't look too healthy right now. We're seeing a lot of damaged squads, and the health for each one of them is pretty devastatingly low. And remember what I said about veterancy? Well, that Grenadiers are gone down now, and that's a big, big problem because there's a huge chunk of veterancy right there. Tiga, in the meantime, has more than an opportunity to kind of charge forwards and pick on as much as he wants to, taking out a fuel cache from the British, and 32 minutes in, that's a big deal. Nope, never mind, he backs away. He could have taken out 3 shots, but he is afraid of what it could be. Now, the Germans are able to take back 2 points, and really should be taking back all 3, but the middle part of the map is not being sieged up quite yet. And indeed, it's not going to be sieged up for a while. This infantry section, putting rounds into this munitions cache over here, I never really got to appreciate how kind of cool that thing is.
The enemy is attempting to steal
The fuel
our
cache.
sector.
Germans are finally looking to go and take that middle VP, and had a little bit of luck in the south, not too much though. And was it S-mines? Yep, S-mines are coming out from the Pioneers. And that's a good bit of defense right there for the Germans, assuming the Brits don't roll in with tanks. It's always a problem to kind of deal with, isn't it?
Sector.
The Tiga tank moves to the east, though. Probably going to pick on this infantry section quite a bit. And again, you can always kind of tell how good a Tiga tank is going to be by the effect of that first round. And second round, look, he's just blowing away a haystack. This is not the Three Little Pigs, my friend. You're here to kill British, not destroy the landscape. Now, German mortar's doing decent enough. Question is, where is he firing? He's firing over here, trying to range the enemy mortar. Well, formerly his own. And with those Pioneers here, he might be able to do so. A lot of cooking going on, but not enough to take one down, which is just a shock to me. Mines completed galore, and interestingly enough, we're going to see another Valentine. I think this is just because he wants to get some line of sight up for destroying things with the concentration barrages. So, good idea there. Just I've never seen this kind of usage before. Assault Grens chasing off 2 squads of Royal Engineers even as they push into these Pioneers. And we're going to see some assault grenades. This would be like the perfect opportunity. So yes, we are. Royal Engineers they're not even being microed. Oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. Kachum, and 2 squads of Royal Engineers are going to get cooked. Taken out super quick. Pack 40 in the meantime. Oh my gosh, Tiger tank and I gotta tilt this down a bit. So Tiger goes down, just hammered by the AEC, the Comet, and the Firefly with its tulip rocket. I can't believe that just happened. All for the AEC. That was it. Really? I'm shocked to see that. So the infantry for both sides looking bad, but even worse is now the Germans don't have any heavy vehicles.
We have 200 points now.
And I'm guessing ZIZYZ is not going to hang out and wait. Oh, excuse me, not hang out and wait. He is going to hang out and not throw Stugs into a Comet and a Firefly, which is a good decision.
The new engineer section is waiting for orders.
Royal Engineers, in the meantime, have more than a little bit of an opportunity to repair some of these kind of very damaged vehicles. It's probably a good idea right there if he does so as well. And both players take a bit of a break as opposed to really getting into the action.
The capture point is being overrun.
The Germans have pushed forward a bit to kind of take back some of this territory. But all things considered, it's kind of worthless. It's a strategic point. It doesn't cut off any sort of munitions from the Brits. It just kind of irritates them mildly for a moment or two. And it seems that ZIZYZ is just going to wait for a third Tiger tank at almost 230 to 183. He's got more than enough tickets to kind of get through it.
RE sappers reporting in.
But with the kind of firepower arrayed against him, is that really the best decision? Probably, I guess, but, I mean, he has no... No, he teched the entire way up, so why did he tech the entire way up? Interesting. So not sure why that just happened necessarily. This would have been another good chunk of fuel back. Even building with the Electromechanized Company. No, Support Armor Corps probably wasn't a good decision at this point. Panzer IVs would have been enough to duel, maybe not 100% efficiently with a Firefly and Comet, but it would have been pretty darn good nonetheless. And yes, there's a third Tiger. So guys, these Tiger groups are going to become an endangered species. If this one dies, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
So Grenadiers book it out of there, not wanting to get caught out in the open by this Valentine. And it does seem, though, that this Tiger is more than willing to come in and make it Valentine's Day for himself. Medical supplies completed at back in base. Yeah, pretty much. Valentine's going to get hammered pretty hardcore, though. He's not even moving right now. Despite the fact that the Royal tank brigades are here. Never mind. Could this be the death of a tank? Could it be the death of the third Tiger tank? Yep, this is going to be the death of the third Tiger tank. Oh, this is painful to watch. So getting pretty lucky here that ZIZYZ is not deploying his troops most effectively. And Steel Dragon is able to survive the Panzer onslaught. Smoke launchers. Smoking out those Pack 40s and keeping up that, oh my gosh, what is that, the Firefly? The Firefly got really super damaged. Main gun was destroyed. And for a mere 30 munitions as well. So something to kind of underscore in this one too is to realize that caches, if you have the spare manpower to use them, to do it, build caches wherever you can. If you want to go and play a heavier fuel style, go ahead and do that. If you don't, that's fine too, but caches are there to assist you. There's a reason for them. Now this Pioneer Squad might find himself alone in green fields with the sun on his face, if you know what I mean. Means he's dead. And his mortars are not quite impacting on the necessary troops.
New machine gun crew ready and waiting.
Another machine gun crew being called in for the Brits. Interesting decision there. Now this infantry section as well is going to try to get up close and personal with these Pioneers, but get blown apart by a mortar shell. Was that a friendly kill as well? No, it wasn't. Just all enemy infantry there, my friends. And I'm a little concerned now, though, still for ZIZYZ. He's winning the infantry fight in terms of veterancy. His troops are quite vetted up, but none of them are healthy. And look at this. I mean, the healthiest thing he's got is a mortar team, and that guy's still not even 100%. But you know what? I guess the fact that he's taken out some points here and there, kind of lucky, and good decisions being made in that case. Still, I would love to see a bunker going down a long time ago. And I said that now 2 or 3 times in this particular game.
The enemy cut our supply line.
Now, question is, there's a concentration barrage going down somewhere. The question is where?
Our capture point. They're trying to take.
Oh, he's looking just back at base, trying to take out whatever he can, really. And guys, it's a base dive. There we go. Steel Dragon says, screw it, boys. I want to go and put a nice, big, fat period on the end of this game. He's exchanging a lot of damage here, a lot of tickets damage. But at the same time, he's taking out the Lifetime Mechanized Company. If he does so, that's a big win right there, more or less. Takes out the Pack 40s. Now, the Pack 40s are trying to get up close and personal, but Valentine and the Comet and the Firefly against two pack guns that are practically on top of each other. One has been taken out. Valentine goes down, but both pack guns are destroyed. And for some reason, Light Arty Barrage goes out in the center part of the map. Do not know why that is. If I am ZIZYZ right now, I am rushing either every single infantry unit I've got to take these guys out, or I'm jumping back on these packs or something. I need to have some sort of anything being called in. There's no Grenadiers, there's no nothing. And Steel Dragon might actually be taking out the German HQ, which is a victory we never seem to see anymore. And I'm going to guess we'll see another concentration barrage really, really quickly. Be a third Comet coming in here. Pack gun has been recrewed. There we go. He gives up the engineer squad to do it. But it might be too late. Comet's gonna tank. Comet is going to continue to tank quite a walloping from the pack here, and this pack should be turning around to just throw rounds into the German Firefly. Destroyed Comet Group HQ. I have never really seen that happen in a multiplayer game, so I couldn't even tell you exactly what the deal is here now. Pretty sure the Germans have to rebuild it somehow. But I'm not 100% on that, folks. I'm sorry. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. Concentration barrage, where's it coming down? Oh my gosh, right back over here again. So, poor Pioneer's going to try to rebuild and remake. And shells are coming in, and they can reinforce, but it's not going to be easy for them.
We've 100 points left.
And luckily for him, it's just going to be impacting to the south. A third Valentine coming in as well. And 230 to 94, Steel Dragon is, for some reason, not taking back every point known to mankind. He's got the advantage. He doesn't have a huge army, but he's got more than enough armored vehicles to do so. And he has allowed his opponent to kind of come back into it, though, with these packs. To recruit them, that is. Valentine gets in and around, able to put rounds into the back of this pack. He's going to be able to do it quickly, not super quickly. And a fourth Tiger comes out? Jeez Louise. Well, pack is decrewed again. And this Valentine is definitely going to get hammered if he doesn't get out of there right this second. Machine gun might go down as well. I do not know. 230 to 72. Starting to get a little bit tight here. Valentine is still retreating in the face of overwhelming firepower. And Comets are out of position. So is the Tulip rocketed Firefly. Though he does have more than enough able to do so, but the Tiger comes in and just takes out one squad of Royal Engineers who were super, super unhealthy. So a very bloodthirsty game here. Kind of surprised by it in many ways. Royal Engineers running down to the south, looking to pick up this VP, I would hope. I do not know. Speed this up a little bit, though, in the meantime. Get some of our action back onto the way here. Valentine sets up his observation material. And these two Comets are going to swing up and around, perhaps, looking to flank the Tiger. Yes, he will. He's got to hurry up and get there, though, soon, because Steel Dragon does not have time to waste. There's no time to dilly-dally. Yeah, wow, that observation thing is actually so good. I never realized that. And looks like the Assault Grenadiers, despite being on the map since literally the word go, are going to get hammered pretty hardcore. And no, Steel Dragon is more content just to come back here and just hit the economy again and again of ZIZYZ. Not 100% sure why on that one, but you know what? The infantry company is down, which means no more Grenadiers, means no mortars, means not much of anything, really.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Bunker might be taken out. No, it's not. Just force the Tiger to rotate over. And indeed, finally, the Assault Grenadiers, which have been here since forever, do go down. After 45 minutes, that's the longest I've ever seen those things actually survive. I mean, they're just kind of expected to die. It's like the conscripts. of the German army. Now the Comet tank is going to go and play Minesweeper with himself. And both Comets are more than willing to dive in on this Tiger tank, and they got to do a good chunk of damage already. Pack goes down, has been called in again and taken right back out. He's setting up behind these Comet tanks, but 25-pounder howitzers would be enough to take him out. I don't know the case on this one. Yep, the shell comes in, he goes down. This Tiger, he's being harried to death. It's just been Comets galore. And I don't know how many Tigers it is. There's 4 Tigers going on. Come in and come down. So 45 minutes in, and still Steel Dragon is not looking to take the territories necessary to succeed here. Never mind. German infantry is starting to go down. Here we're down just to 4 squads. And one of those is just a recruit pack gun, which gets immediately decrewed. So that guy's bolting off the map. This bunker goes down, and while he has 1/10 of the tickets of ZIZYZ, Steel Dragon might be able to pull this one out yet. He's just been throwing bodies at this like hardcore. Pack gun is still out in the open, so I don't know if he's leaving it there intentionally or what the deal is. But this Comets are going to, yep, there goes another squad of Pioneers. And it's like every single time they fire, it seems like another guy dies, which is just such a brutal bit of arithmetic to be fighting with here. And the fire flies around to the south, so the Germans have 3 men left. And now they have 1 man left. Not able to call in anything but assault grenadiers. A Stug would be a good idea as well. Anything possible would be a good idea. But it's not going to happen. Instead, it's just going to be this conflict headquarters is being pwned again. So for the second time this game, we see a base dive, which for me is kind of fun to see because you never see it. Pioneer's going to go down. Foil Engineers with the stun guns coming in and around, looking to take him out. Do you see go down? He's making the running man kind of sprint. And no, that's going to be a tap out from ZIZYZ over here. So ZIZYZ says, you know, screw it, bro. I'm not going to do this anymore. And he gets out. So congratulations to Steel Dragon. He pulls out the win despite being down quite a long bit. That Kampfgruppe headquarters is gone. That's, by the way, folks, why things ended. Kampfgruppe headquarters is gone completely. So well done for Steel Dragon sticking it out, and unlucky for ZIZYZ, kept bringing in those Tigers and kept getting them taken out. Folks, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I love seeing your comments, your subscribes, your likes, all that kind of good stuff. Please continue to have them keep coming. I just can't get enough of them. However, this is going to be it for me today. This is Con Ulrich signing off. Take it easy, everybody.